On this edition with the headlines. 25-year-old tennis player Radhika Yadav shot dead by her father in her home. Father confesses to the crime, cites anger over a tennis academy and public remarks. Accused father sent to one-day police custody. Gurugram police deny reports suggesting that Radhika Yadav's chilling murder could be a case of honor killing, rule out any relationship angle to the crime. Radhika's co-star in one of the music videos, Inamul Haq, speaks exclusively to CNN News 18, says Radhika had deactivated her social media accounts right after the release of the music video, which was shot in the presence of her family. NSA Ajit Doval slams those who doubted success of Operation Sindoor, questions foreign media claims of India suffering significant losses, dares them to show one such proof. Amid the outrage over Sena MLA Sanjay Gaikwad's slapgate, now Sena Minister Sanjay Sirsat kicks up a political storm. Caught on video with a bag full of cash, opposition demands Sirsat's sacking. Baloch separatist groups launch Operation Bomb against Pakistan Army, launch over 50 attacks in 24 hours. BLA claims over 18 Pakistani soldiers killed at the Gidar military camp. Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Singh Mann has set to trigger fresh round of interstate war dispute, vows not to hand over the control of state dams to CISF. It's a shocking incident. 25-year-old state-level tennis player Radhika Yadav was shot dead in her own home by her father in Sector 57 of Gurugram yesterday. According to the police, Radhika's father shot her thrice. She was rushed to a private hospital in critical condition but succumbed to her injuries. Gurugram police have now revealed that Radhika was allegedly shot after an argument with her father over her decision to run a tennis academy. He told the police that he had advised Radhika several times to shut it down, but she refused to do so. The father has told the police allegedly that he was being taunted by people in his locality who said that he was living off his daughter's earnings, and that's something that he could not take. Meanwhile, as per police sources, the statement of Radhika's mother has also been recorded. The father, who confessed to the crime, has now been sent to one-day police custody. The licensed revolver that he used in this murder has also been seized.
Could you, first of all, explain or share with us your own experience with Radhika? आप उनके साथ इस वीडियो में थे, कैसी शख्सियत थी उनकी, थोड़ा हमें बताइए। और बहुत बहुत दुखद घटना रही है ये, हम आपको भी अपने कंडोलेंसेस कन्वे करना चाहेंगे।
जी, मैं आपको इसके बारे में ज़्यादा क्या बताऊं, बिकॉज 4 to 5 आवर्स का शूट था और मेरे लिए वो एक को एक्ट्रेस थी जी, जिनके साथ हमने म्यूजिक वीडियो शूट किया। तो मैं तो उनको एक्ट्रेस की निगाह से ही देख रहा था। तो आई डोंट नो कि मैं आपका इस सवाल का जवाब कैसे दूं या उनके बारे में क्या बताऊं, बिकॉज मुझे ज़्यादा है नहीं उनके बारे में डिटेल मेरे पास।
आपकी उनसे पहली बार मुलाकात कब हुई थी? जब ये शूट शुरू हुआ तब आपकी उनसे पहली बार मुलाकात कब हुई?
हम लोग पंजाब टाइगर्स टेनिस टीम के लिए दिल्ली गए थे और वहाँ पर उन्होंने मेरी टीम मेट को बोला था कि उनको एक्टिंग में भी शौक है और उनको करना है एड्स और म्यूजिक वीडियो। देन उन्होंने मुझे बोला, मेरी टीम मेंबर ने, मैंने बोला आप इनका नंबर ले लीजिए, कुछ भी होता है मैं इनको बता दूंगा। और मैंने बोला दिल्ली रहते हैं बट मैं तो मुंबई रहता हूँ, तो मुंबई में तो पॉसिबल नहीं होगा, बिकॉज अगर आपको एज एन एक्ट्रेस काम करना है तो आपको मुंबई में रहना ज़रूरी है। तो मैंने बोला अगर कुछ होगा तो मैं आपको बता दूंगा। तो उस टाइम एक म्यूजिक वीडियो था कारवा, जो मैं मिस्टर जीशान के साथ कर रहा था, एंड उसमें डायरेक्टर अली अहमद थे। मैं सिर्फ अपना गाना दे रहा था और वो लोग कास्टिंग कर रहे थे। तो अचानक से जीशान अहमद उन्होंने मना कर दिया कि मैं नहीं कर रहा म्यूजिक वीडियो, अच्छा, बिकॉज कुछ उनका फैमिली इशू हो गया था। तो फिर डायरेक्टर ने बोला इनाम लास्ट मोमेंट है, इसको आप कर लो। तो मैंने पहले राधिका की प्रोफाइल में भेजी हुई थी व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप में कि आप इसको देख लीजिए। पहले सब लोगों ने बोला कि वो काफ़ी यंग है, जीशान अहमद उनके साथ। फिर जब मेरी बारी आई, जब मैं इसको एज एन एक्टर शूट करने लगा, तो बोले कि हाँ अभी ये फिट है, तो राधिका से आप बात कर लीजिए। तो मैंने उनको बोला कि ऐसे ऐसे एक म्यूजिक वीडियो है, गाना है। मैंने गाना भेजा राधिका को एंड राधिका उसके लिए एक्साइटेड भी थी बिकॉज उन्होंने इससे पहले कोई ऐसा काम किया नहीं था। तो राधिका ने मुझे बताया कि उनके फादर को ये गाना बहुत अच्छा लगा।
अच्छा,
कारवा, उन्होंने ये मुझे बोला था। हाँ,
इनाम,
मैंने बोला ठीक है फिर हम
उस
शूट
फोन
करते हैं।
कॉल तक, उस फोन कॉल तक और उसके पहले जब उन्होंने आपको अपना कांटेक्ट नंबर दिया कि यदि कोई भी अपॉर्चुनिटी हो तो आप मुझे कांटेक्ट करिए, उस पैसेज ऑफ टाइम के दौरान आपका कोई भी संपर्क हुआ था राधिका के साथ?
मेरा कोई ऐसा कोई कांटेक्ट नहीं हुआ, बट इंस्टाग्राम पर हम लोग कनेक्टेड रहते हैं, तो कभी स्टोरी पर कोई रिप्लाई दे दिया, कभी कुछ ऐसे ही था
जी।
बट मेरा कोई भी ऐसा लॉन्ग कॉन्वर्जेशन थोड़ा भी नहीं हुआ। और ना मुझे दिल्ली इंडस्ट्री उससे कुछ काम, या वहाँ पर मैं मुंबई में ही रहता हूँ, तो जब कोई मतलब इन फ्यूचर में अगर कल चंडीगढ़ में कोई गाना शूट करने जाऊँ तब मुझे कोई याद आएगा कि कोई एक्ट्रेस है यहाँ पर या नहीं है। बट उसके बीच में मेरी ऐसी कोई भी बातचीत नहीं हुई। बट मेरे जहन में था कि हाँ, ये इनको हम कास्ट कर सकते हैं
जी,
बिकॉज उनका जो कैमरा लुक है वो बहुत अच्छा था। क्योंकि हम लोग जब टेनिस का शूट कर रहे थे तभी मुझे मेरी टीममेट बोले थे कि ये क्यूट लगती है, और आप इसने बोला भी कि इसको कुछ करना है एक्टिंग में, तो इनाम जी आप बताइएगा। इस तरह से बात हुई थी।
ये एक्यूज को घटना के तुरंत बाद ही पुलिस के द्वारा अरेस्ट कर लिया गया था, और फिलहाल तक जो इंटरोगेशन हुई है उसमें उनके द्वारा बताया गया है कि उनकी लड़की जो राधिका थी, जिनकी उसके द्वारा गोली मारकर हत्या कर दी गई थी, तो टेनिस एकेडमी यहाँ गुरुग्राम में चलाती थी। जिस टेनिस एकेडमी को चलाने को लेकर के वो काफी नाराज थे और उनके द्वारा बार बार बोला गया था कि इस एकेडमी को बंद कर दो। उनके द्वारा राधिका द्वारा इस बात को न मानने के ऊपर वो काफी गुस्सा उससे थे और उनके द्वारा 3 गोलियां मार करके उसकी हत्या करके इस वारदात को अंजाम दिया गया। नहीं चाहते थे कि उनकी लड़की एकेडमी को चलाए और इस एकेडमी को बंद कर दे, परंतु उन्होंने बात नहीं मानी और इसी नाराजगी के तहत उन्होंने ये कार्रवाई की।
जब राधिका की हत्या की गई उस वक्त घर में कौन कौन लोग मौजूद थे और क्या ये लाइसेंसी हथियार था?
दीपक और साथ में दीपक की पत्नी घटना के समय में उस फ्लोर पर मौजूद थे, और जो ये वेपन इस घटना में यूज किया गया ये एक लाइसेंसी रिवॉल्वर थी, जिसको कि पुलिस के द्वारा रिकवर कर लिया गया घटनास्थल से ही। फर्दर जो केस की इन्वेस्टिगेशन पुलिस के द्वारा की जा रही है।
सोशल मीडिया पे एक रील वायरल हो रही है जिसके लिए कहा जा रहा है कि शायद वो रील जो राधिका ने रील बनाई थी उससे उसके पिता नाराज थे, क्योंकि सोसाइटी के लोग उनके ऊपर एक तरह से कमेंट्स कर रहे थे इसको लेकर, इसलिए भी नाराजगी थी।
देखिए, अभी तक ना तो इन्वेस्टिगेशन में ऐसी कोई चीज सामने आई है, ना ही एक्यूज के द्वारा कोई ऐसी चीज डिस्क्लोज की गई है, और जितने भी लोगों की स्टेटमेंट अब तक रिकॉर्ड की गई है किसी के द्वारा भी इस तरह की कोई बात को स्वीकार नहीं किया गया है। और फिलहाल तक ऐसा कोई एविडेंस इन्वेस्टिगेशन में सामने नहीं आया है कि रील की बात को कोई नाराजगी थी। एक्यूज के द्वारा जो डिस्क्लोज किया गया है वो टेनिस एकेडमी चलाने को लेकर के नाराज था, और मना करने के बाद भी जब उनकी बेटी ने उनकी बात नहीं मानी तो उनके द्वारा गुस्से में आकर के इस हत्या की वारदात को अंजाम दिया गया।
Now, just as the police recreate a crime scene, we here at CNN News 18 are also trying to paint you a picture of what exactly transpired at Radhika Yadav's home when she was killed by her own father. With the help of artificial intelligence, this is what we've recreated for you. Radhika's mother was resting on the second floor of their residence. That's what we're given to understand. And the rest of the family, which is Radhika, her father, were on the first floor. Radhika was in the kitchen. She was preparing a special meal for her mother, whose birthday it was, is what we're given to understand, which is why she was in the kitchen of their 2-story home. Her father walked into the kitchen. They had an argument over her refusing to shut down this academy or work at the academy as her father was instructing to do. That is something that irked her father, after which he pumped in 3 bullets at close range into her. That's what we're learning. 1 bullet was lodged in her neck. That's what the hospital has also confirmed. 2 in her back. So she was faced towards the wall when her father walked in from behind and pumped in 3 bullets. 5 shots were fired, out of which 1 bullet was lodged in her neck and the other 2 in her back. Hearing the gunshots, Radhika's brother rushed to the first floor. We're given to understand that she was then found lying in a pool of blood there. She was rushed to the hospital. At about 10:30 a.m. is when the crime occurred. At about 12 p.m. at noon, she was declared dead at the hospital where she succumbed to her injuries. And a few hours later is when the FIR was registered late in the evening past 8 p.m. So what exactly happened? Is this a case of open and shut crime? Is that how the police is looking at it? To put that in perspective, my colleagues Anshul and Ananya now joins us, getting us more details. Anshul, there are several things that don't add up though, isn't it? Because there are differing versions that are coming to the fore. The security guard who was outside the home, the uncle whose claims are there in the FIR, and the fact that a confession from the accused is also in the FIR. A lot of holes there seem to be present in this case.
Well, yes, as the investigation is going ahead, we are getting the answers to all these questions. The first question is that why the statement of the accused was mentioned in the FIR. So a top police source has in fact told me that since the FIR got registered at 8:30 p.m. and it took somewhere around 8 to 9 hours for the FIR to be registered, the exact reason is because there were too many details that needed to be jotted down in that FIR. For example, the complainant, that is the uncle of the victim, his entire statement was initially taken. Then the accused was also arrested, with in fact taken into custody just minutes after the incident itself, and he also confessed to the police each and everything that happened and that transpired, and hence they thought that since the FIR is being registered now, and hence it needs to be mentioned over here, and that is the reason why it was mentioned in the FIR as well. Apart from that, there were other loopholes, there were other versions that were not adding up. One of those versions was that why would somebody taunt Deepak Yadav that he is surviving off the money that is being earned by his daughter, whereas he himself has a lot of money in hand. In fact, what police has told us that his monthly income, rental income, is somewhere around 3 to 3.5 lakhs per month, which means that the total for the year is around 40 lakh rupees he earns per annum, which is absolutely enough for a person to survive. And Radhika, being a tennis player, her income was not that much, but what infuriated him is the larger question. Now, the mother of the victim has recorded her statement in front of the police. Remember, she was the only person who was privy to the entire conversation, and she has very clearly stated a few facts. First one is that there was this obsessive behavior of Deepak Yadav that had come to the fore previously as well, and due to this behavior, there have been several times ruckus has been created inside their house. One of the occasions that has been cited by the mother is just days after their marriage, where the mother of Radhika was talking to the younger uncle of Radhika, and even on that, for at least 7 to 8 days, there was constant ruckus that happened inside the house, and the ruckus went to such an extent that till date they do not converse with each other. That is the mother of Radhika and the younger brother of Deepak Yadav. Both of them do not converse till date, even after they are living in the same house. Right. Now, what happened with Radhika? Basically, just 5 days ago, he went to his village, which is just across the road, probably 500 meters away from the location at which I am standing. At that point, someone in that village told him that your life is settled now, since your daughter has an academy to herself, she can earn money, and this is something that stuck with him. He thought that person is making fun of him. He came back home and started this entire ruckus inside the house, where he started demanding from Radhika that she should shut her shop immediately, as his image is getting tarnished. To this, Radhika replied very clearly that more than 2 crore rupees have already been invested on her and her career, and why should she actually shut her shop? Now, this went on for at least 2 to 3 days, eventually to the extent that the father got angry, and he said that if you do not shut your shop, I'll kill you or I'll kill myself. To this, Radhika replied that you can kill yourself, I have no issues with that, absolutely. This, in fact, fled the entire situation, and he went ahead, brought his licensed gun and fired 5 bullets towards Radhika, out of which 3 hit her, 2 were on the ground, one live cartridge was inside the gun itself. So all these questions, all these dots seems to be joining at this point in time, and that is the reason why the Gurugram police did not ask for an extended custodial interrogation of the accused. They had sought just 2 days of custody. The exact reason was because in the gun license of the accused, he had 32 bullets with him, out of which 6 were recovered, and the rest is needed to be recovered, and those rest 26 bullets are at his ancestral home in Rewari, where the police will take him today or tomorrow morning and then recover those bullets and will bring back. So in all likelihood, tomorrow
so
the accused will be sent to judicial custody.
That's expected to happen in the next 24 hours. Whether he is remanded to judicial custody after that, or whether the police seek further custody, because more questions crop up, that's something that we'll find out tomorrow. Ananya, before I come to you, we want to get our viewers a sense of what exactly transpired on that evening, on that day yesterday when the news broke out. The security guard at the residence recounted how exactly Radhika's father came out and declared that he had in fact killed his own daughter. Listen in to that chilling testimony.
जब ये इंसिडेंट हुआ कल करीबन 10:30 बजे, तो क्या आपने गन शॉट्स की आवाज़ें सुनी थी?
जी नहीं, मैं नहीं सुना था, मैं यहाँ नहीं था, मैं था मंदिर में। मंदिर से आने के बाद में हमने ये सब कुछ बातें उते कर रहा था, पानी भी पड़ रहा था, बारिश भी, तो हम हल्का फल्का में खड़ा होकर मैं सुना कि आपने की लड़ाई हो रहा, क्या हो रहा था। मैं सुना तो कुछ ये सब बात बता रहे हैं, लड़ रहे झगड़ रहे हैं, फिर भी मैं बहुत।
आपको लड़ाई झगड़े की आवाज़ आ रही थी घर से?
बाहर आके
बाहर आ
हाँ, बाहर आपने बातें कर रहे थे। हाँ, एक तो उस घर के एक मम्मी था, एक वो वाइफ था, इसकी मम्मी था, हाँ, राधा जी की मम्मी, ये अपने में बात कर रहे थे। तो हम जब इधर से जा रहे
कितने बजे की बात है ये कि वो लोग बाहर आके बात कर रहे? राधिका जी की मम्मी आप बोल रहे हैं, मदर, तो वो कितने बजे करीबन बाहर आके बात कर रहे?
ये करीब 11 बजे की है बात है।
11 बजे की बात है?
हाँ, 11 पौने 11 बजे।
तो और कौन कौन थे उनके साथ में?
नहीं, कोई नहीं था, बस ये एक तो वाइफ था, राधिका जी की मम्मी था, और उनको पत्नी भी था, वो परले कोठी वाले थे। ये अपने तीनों बात कर रहे थे, तो हम जाते हुए थोड़ा गौर किया बात को कि क्या क्या बात हो रहा है, कोई लड़ाई झगड़ा तो नहीं हो गया, कि हम बाजू में रहते हैं, कोई मान लिया भी आएगा, अगर पूछेगा तो मैं क्या जवाब दूंगा। फिर भी मैं बारिश में भीगता हुआ मैं बात को सुवादा उसको, भाई क्या बात है। तो भाई इतनी देर में भाई बोला कि लड़ाई हो गया, हाँ लड़ाई हो गया, क्या बात हो गया, मार दिया। फिर बच्चा तो वो तो चला गया लेके, गाड़ी में लेके, फिर बाद में सुना हमने कि ठोक दिया गोली से।
Ananya, just a short while ago, the accused in this case, who is Radhika's father, was remanded to one-day police custody. What exactly transpired in court? Why is it that the police only sought 2 days? What was it? What was the case that they made in front of the court there?
You know, as far as the little information that we have, as far as what transpired in the court, because the journalists were not allowed inside, the court has in fact asked the police to investigate this on a serious level. In fact, the court called it a very, very serious offence being committed, and the police said that, you know, they want just 2 days of police custody remand because they want to recover, in fact, the remaining bullets or the ammunition that was, allowed with that particular licensed weapon that Deepak Yadav was having. Not only that, the court called it a very, very serious, offence, and asked the police to investigate further, and hence granted them a 1 day of police custody remand. However, there were a lot of questions, that were still remain unanswered, because, why was the FIR registered so late? So whether or not the court questioned them over this late registration of FIR or not is something, that only can be seen as to when the detailed order copy actually comes out. Not only that, at this particular point of time, the mother has come out, and somewhere or the other, this whole mystery that was created about Radhika's murder seems to be churning down, because he is an obsessive person. But also a question emerges that if at all he was of obsessive behavior, why was his character profiling not done when a license was being given out for a weapon to him? And if at all it was known, then why did the family react in this way? And who was the one actually who discovered the dead body, who saw it first, and what happened is something, there are some kind of discrepancies coming out. So how well would the Gurugram police put all of it into a charge sheet, or in fact how would they conclude this investigation, would be very, very crucial and interesting to see.
Right, Ananya, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. Anshul getting us the latest inputs as well. But there are certain questions that do come up as to why this case and why there are so many holes in the story. That is something that the police are going to be piecing together. These questions are, one, of course, is that why was there an 8-hour delay in filing of the FIR? The crime occurred at about 10:30 a.m. as is claimed by the father, who is the accused in this case. Radhika was pronounced dead at about 12 at noon in the hospital, but the FIR was filed only past 8 p.m. Why has the father's confession been mentioned in the FIR? That's another question that comes up. Usually when an FIR is filed, what you do find in it is a mention of the complainant detailing the crime. But in this case, the accused, who is the father of the victim, his claims, his confessions have also been mentioned. Arguments over tennis academy, is that just a cover-up for something that was larger than this, or is that the only motive? That's something that the police will also have to find answers to. Is there also an attempt that is perhaps being made by the family, not just by the father, but the rest of the family as well, to cover up what would be tagged as a dishonor killing? That's something that the police will have to investigate as well. There is talk about how the father felt taunted, felt like he was not man enough when someone asked him or spoke to him about how well his daughter was doing. But why was this affluent father bothered about his daughter's income? That's a question many are asking as well. Even after such twisted angles that have come to the fore, why did the police only seek 2 days remand? Do they not see enough discrepancies in the timeline, in the versions that have come to the fore to actually investigate any further? Or are they treating this as an open and shut case because the father, the accused in this case, has confessed to the crime? Those are questions that we will be putting to the Gurugram police that they will have to answer perhaps in court as well. But take a look at some of these ground reports that my colleagues have been bringing for us, piecing together, or at least making an attempt to try and piece together what exactly could have transpired.
Curious case of murder of a young tennis player by her own father has rocked the NCR region. We are here in the Wazirabad area where the accused Deepak Yadav, who's said to be, and in fact is the father of a victim, has used to be living there. It is his native village. He used to have certain properties here, and a lot of local people allege that he is somebody who was teased, or he has given in a statement to the police that he was being teased. But we are at this place where the regular milk supplies of Deepak Yadav used to go. This is the kind of a place from where his daily milk supplies used to go. However, we tried to speak to the owners of this particular house, and they are not willing to speak at this particular point of time. But very categorically, this is the village where Deepak Yadav had started his life, and in fact later moved to the Sector 57 residence where Deepak Yadav now stays, and where in fact recently he killed his own daughter. While the police is investigating from only one angle, they've got in fact a confessional statement from Deepak Yadav, but there are a lot of twists and turns as far as this case is concerned, and there are a lot of in fact angles to it which might not have been looked at at this point of time.
सर, आप जो इसमें अक्यूज्ड हैं उनको बहुत दिनों से जानते थे, दीपक जी को, आपके मित्र हैं, कैसा व्यवहार था उनका, और क्या वो राधिका के टेनिस को सपोर्ट करते थे?
हाँ, टेनिस को वो बहुत ज़्यादा सपोर्ट करते थे, और एक्यूज्ड अभी आप नहीं कह सकते मौके क्या बात हुई है पता नहीं। हाँ, टेनिस को खूब सपोर्ट करते थे वो, क्योंकि ताऊ देवलाल पार्क है यहाँ पे, हम वहाँ पे डेली सुबह वॉक करते थे मैं और दीपक, और आज नहीं 10-12 सालों से। तो उस समय भी यानी 4-5 साल पहले लगातार 5 सालों तक वो कभी दिल्ली मैच है, कभी कहीं है, वो त्यागराज अकेडमी या कौन सी ऐसी के खन्ना आई डोंट नो, याद नहीं है, वहाँ पे डेली लेके जाना, दिल्ली का ट्रैफिक वगैरह, फिर भी डेली पूरा सपोर्ट करते थे, और कहीं बाहर मैच है तो खिलाने लगे जाते, प्रोफेशनली कैरियर बनाने के पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से।
अच्छा, व्यवहार कैसा था? आप इतने सालों से जानते हैं, क्या गुस्सैल थे, या कभी ऐसा गुस्सा आता था तो गुस्से में कुछ बोल देते थे या कर देते थे, ऐसा कुछ व्यवहार?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, बिल्कुल शांत किस्म का आदमी, और मतलब कभी गुस्सा नहीं, और बहुत ही कोऑपरेटिव, और फैमिली के लिए भी पॉजिटिव और दोस्तों के लिए भी कोऑपरेटिव। अब ये जो भी बात है, गुस्सैल बिल्कुल गुस्सैल नहीं था। मोमेंट्री कोई बात हुई हो, दैट इज ए डिफरेंट थिंग, वो एक अलग बात है, लेकिन गुस्सैल नहीं था किसी भी तरह के। कुछ लोग नहीं होते क्रिमिनल माइंड के या किसी अलग तरह के होते, ऐसे बिल्कुल नहीं था। हमारे हरियाणा में कहते हैं नाखून भी उसका ऐसा नहीं था, नहीं है मतलब।
अच्छा, तो पुलिस ये कह रही है कि उनको ताने मारते थे लोग कि तुम अपनी बेटी की कमाई पर जिंदा हो और इसलिए गुस्सा है, तो क्या ऐसा भी कुछ आपने सुना कभी आसपास किसी ने?
सुना कभी नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं सुना, क्योंकि फाइनेंशियली काफ़ी स्ट्रॉन्ग है दीपक, कि भाई वो पैसे की उसको कोई जरूरत नहीं, अच्छा भला रेंट आ रहा है, सब कुछ आ रहा है। पुलिस की जो बात है उसमें मैं कुछ नहीं कह सकता, जाँच कर रहे हैं, सक्षम पुलिस है हमारी, लेकिन उसको पैसे की कमी नहीं थी।
सर, मैडम आती थी तो मतलब कोई काम पड़ता था तो बुला लेती थी मैडम कि भैया मतलब कोट लगाना है या मतलब पानी मारना है, बोल देना है, तो उठा के दे देते थे, और उसके बाद हम अपने ग्राउंड पे आ जाते थे। बोलने चालने में भी बहुत सही थी, और कभी तो मतलब गुस्सा से या वैसे तो बात करी नहीं, भैया ही करके बात करती थी ज़्यादातर। मैं खाली मैडम आती थी और सर आते थे, सावन सर, और जो पेरेंट्स के बच्चे, जो पेरेंट्स वगैरह थे वो आते थे, बच्चे आते थे।
More information, in fact, is now trickling in. CNN News 18 has access details of Radhika Yadav's post-mortem report. This is just a preliminary report at the moment, but her autopsy has been completed. Now, in fact, we're learning that it were 4 bullets that were pumped into Radhika, allegedly by her father at her own residence. Initially, the information suggested that there were 3. He fired 5 rounds, but 3 hit her. But now the postmortem report has confirmed that, in fact, it were 4 bullet injuries that eventually killed Radhika Yadav. 3 of those bullets were retrieved from her back and 1 from her shoulder. There were several rounds that he wanted to fire. It was at close range in the kitchen of their home, is what the police have confirmed in their investigations so far. But as far as the autopsy report is now concerned, more details that have trickled in is that there weren't in fact 3 bullet injuries that killed her, but 4. 3 of them were lodged in her back and 1 in her shoulder. 1 stray bullet was also recovered by the police, is what reports are suggesting. There are several other live rounds that this accused has with him. That's something that the police will have to retrieve, for which we're given to understand that the investigating team will go to Rewari in Haryana after the accused is taken there. The police, remember, have 1-day custody of the accused, the Radhika Yadav's father, in this case. "25-year-old Radhika Yadav was killed at her home yesterday. An FIR has been registered in that particular case. Her father has confessed to the crime as well. The police claim that he has confessed, also given a detail of why he decided to kill his daughter in cold blood. Police seem to be treating this as an open and shut case, but now the postmortem report has spelt out a few more details that were unknown up until now. Anshul now joins us, getting us more details. Anshul, initially the report suggested that there were 3 bullet injuries that eventually she succumbed to, but now the autopsy report has revealed that there were in fact 4.
There are exit wounds in the body as well, and the autopsy report that has come in is just the preliminary report that has come in. A detailed autopsy report will come out eventually. The exact reason of death has been ascertained in this entire case, and this exact reason of death is being said to be the injuries that happened due to bullet wounds. At this point in time, what sources have confirmed this to CNN News 18 is that there were only 3 entry wounds in the body, and there was 1 bullet that had, in fact, was able to cross the body, and there was an exit wound. So in total, there were 4 wounds that were seen on her body. Because remember, even it has been mentioned in the postmortem report that the bullets that were fired on the victim were actually fired from behind her, and this were close range shots, which means if you look at the ballistics of the pistol that has been used, it can very clearly be ascertained that if at all from close range a bullet is fired, the bullet has the capacity to actually pierce through the body and exit on the other side. And this is what has come out in the postmortem report, that 3 entry wounds, 1 exit wound has also been found on the body of Radhika. And now the viscera samples have been put in custody, have been taken by the Gurugram police, in fact by the agencies, and over the next 2 to 3 months, a detailed investigation will also happen about the viscera samples as well. But at this point in time, the facts that have come to the fore are definitely pointing towards that this entire incident happened. The father was angry. He was in very close range with the victim, and he fired 5 bullets at her, out of which 3 had entered her body. One of the bullet had exited the body as well, since it was shot from a very close range, and hence there are 4 wounds that can be seen on her body at this point.
Okay, so far there are 4 wounds that have been noted in the postmortem report. There is a detailed report that will be coming out, but we're given to understand that Radhika's mortal remains have been handed over by the police now to the family.
So yes, also seeing the movement that is happening over here at the residence of Radhika, is that, in fact, I'll just like to break this to our visuals, that the mortal remains of Radhika has just now arrived at her residence. Their body has been handed over, and the ambulances have just arrived over here at the residence of Radhika. Her mortal remains are very much still inside this. The family is going to take this body from here inside the house. I'll just try to show you in the visuals as well the situation over here. The ambulance has just arrived. Radhika's mortal remains are inside this are inside this van at this point. The family members have all collected over here. The family members would be taking this body and would be going inside where the last respects would be paid, and then eventually the body will be taken for the last rites. So these visuals that you are seeing on your screens right now, these visuals are actually of Radhika, her body that has been brought over here, and the body has now gone inside. Has gone inside her residence at this point.
Right, Anshul, in fact, we are getting those pictures that you are showing to us. A lot of people have gathered, perhaps their neighbors who've gathered to pay their last respects to Radhika Yadav. Do we have any details of the family members who are present there? The father, of course, is in custody. Her brother, her uncle, are they all present at home?
The uncle and other close relatives and even friends of the family are all present over here, because remember, this is the village of Radhika as well, and hence each and every person in this village, as we have seen, especially in North India, family members of Radhika who call themselves the family members of Radhika, and they have all gathered over here to pay their last respects and condolences to this very young and bright girl who had to lose her life because of her father getting infuriated on small little things, and eventually such a massive incident has happened. At this point in time, the body has just reached inside where the last respects would be paid to the body, and then eventually the mortal remains would eventually be taken for the last rites. It is 5:30 in the evening, and by 6:30 we can expect that the last rites would start, and the body of Radhika would be the last rites would be done with. The father, as you rightly mentioned, is still in the custody of Haryana police, and it is likely that today, late night or early tomorrow morning, he will be taken to Rewari, which is just an hour and a half drive from here, from his residence, and then they will try to recover the bullets and then eventually produce him in front of the courts tomorrow. So the latest update that we are bringing to our viewers is that the body of Radhika has now been handed over to the family, and the body has just now reached her residence.
Anshul, as far as the investigation is concerned, her mother's statement was recorded earlier today. Are we expecting the police to record the statement of the others at the residence as well? The victim's uncle or her father's brother was the one who reported the crime, is what we're given to understand?
Well, definitely the statements of all these people will be recorded sooner than later. Several statements have already been recorded. The first eyewitness that was present was the uncle, who is the complainant in this entire matter. His statements have been recorded by the police, and in fact the statement of the mother of Radhika has also been recorded by the police. Apart from this, the police will now have to substantiate this claim that has been made from the side of the accused, that he is the person who has committed this entire crime, and now the police will have to find corroborative evidences that could actually substantiate this entire claim. And now, what are these evidences that the police is looking for? The police at this point in time is looking to get the exact knowledge of the mental condition of the father of the victim. As we have reported this to our viewers, that he used to get angry and infuriated on very small little things. So was this a part of his regular behavior? Is something that the police will try to find out. Apart from the mother, the other people who are present inside, that is the uncle, and not only the uncle but also the her younger cousin, who he was also present inside the residence when the firing initially happened. His own brother, his real brother, was out of the residence, is what we are being told. He had gone to a property dealer's office where he got the news, and then eventually he rushed straight to the hospital. So from the residence, only the father was present. Once the uncle of the victim went on the first floor, what did he see? He saw the body. He saw the body of Radhika lying in a pool of blood in kitchen, whereas the weapon that was used to commission this entire crime was actually lying in the drawing room right next to the kitchen itself. So yes, all these details have come to the fore, whereas there are small little evidences that the police is likely to gather in the next few minutes.
Right, Anshul, do stay on with us. We'll keep coming back to you as more of these details trickle in. It is a shocking crime that has come to the fore from the National Capital Region, from Gurugram, where a young life has been cut short. A 25-year-old state-level tennis player was killed in her own home in Gurugram yesterday. We'll keep a track of that and much more here on CNN News 18. You can also catch all of these updates and analysis that is now available at your fingertips on the News 18 app. In fact, there is a new and upgraded News 18 app that you can download using the QR code that you see on your screens.
This is The Drive.
This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The Delhi High Court has now stayed the release of Udaipur Files, a movie based on Kanhaiya Lal murder case from 2022. It was scheduled to release today itself till the centre decides on pleas seeking a permanent ban on it. The court stayed the film's release until the central government decides on the revision plea filed by the Jamaat Ulama in Hind, challenging the CBFC's nod. A division bench of Chief Justice D.K. Upadhyay and Justice Anish Dayal directed the petitioners to approach the government within 2 days with their grievances. The petitioners accused in the Kanhaiya Lal murder case moved court, contending that the film's release will jeopardize their chances of a fair trial. The bench said, and I quote the court here, admittedly petitioners have not taken recourse to available remedy with the central government, unquote. So this is the High Court asking the petitioners to approach the central government, asking the centre to take a call on the same. The movie, though, remember, is slated to release today itself, and the Delhi High Court has now stayed the release of this film.
3 साल से किसी केस में अपराधियों को सज़ा नहीं मिली, वीडियो सबूत वगैरह सब कुछ होने के बावजूद, और जब एक हकीकत एक मूवी के ज़रिए देश को दिखाना चाहता है कोई, ठीक है, कि उस समय क्या हुआ था 28 जून 2022 को, तो उसके लिए पूरा एक संगठन खड़ा हो जाता है, जमीयत उलमा हिंद, ये मौलाना मदनी जी आ जाते हैं कि नहीं, मूवी पर रोक लगनी चाहिए, मूवी पर रोक लगनी चाहिए, और सिर्फ 3 दिन के अंदर हमें पता चल रहा है कि मूवी पर रोक भी लग गई. मतलब कितना हमारा जो कानून है वो कितना तेज़ है ना, एकदम फास्ट, ठीक है, पर वही जब किसी केस में अपराधियों को सज़ा देनी होती है तो वो नहीं हो रही.
जो वकील थे कपिल सिब्बल, उनको स्कैनिंग करा दी थी, तो स्कैनिंग कराने के बाद भी उन्हें बोलना तो वही था जो उनके मन में है, क्योंकि उन्होंने फीस ली उस बात की विरोध करने की, तो विरोध ही वो करेंगे. तो आज बहुत समय तक जो है हाई कोर्ट में चीफ जस्टिस साहब के सामने वो पूरा प्रकरण चला, और उन्होंने फिर लास्ट में ये कहा कि ये फिल्म
Thank you so much for staying with us here on CNN News 18. These are visuals that are coming to the fore of the mortal remains that were handed over by the police of a 25-year-old state-level tennis player from Haryana, Radhika Yadav, who was killed in her own home yesterday, allegedly by her own father, as he has confessed to the crime. Her last rites will be conducted in just a short while from now. In fact, her postmortem report has been accessed by CNN News 18. These are preliminary findings, of course, that have now come to the fore. What we're learning is that 4 bullets were found in her body, 3 in the back and 1 in the shoulder. That's what we are now gathering. Her last rites will be conducted by close family, even as the father has been remanded to 1-day police custody. Anshul and Ananya, my colleagues now join us, getting us more details of where exactly the investigations stand. Ananya, we're seeing these visuals coming to the fore. Radhika Yadav's last rites will be conducted in just a short while from now. But the family needs answers because there are still too many holes, too many gaps in this entire timeline, in the entire story, isn't it?
Well, definitely there are a lot of gaps and loopholes as far as this story is concerned. The unfortunate death of a young tennis player who could have, become somebody who could have represented the country at some point of time later. But this murder mystery is, in fact having a lot of loopholes, though a lot is clear after her mother's statements come to light, as our colleague Anshul had been reporting since very morning, that, his mother has very categorically stated that Deepak Yadav, the accused, and in fact, the father of the victim who killed his own daughter by his own hands through that revolver is somebody who is a kind of obsessive in nature and used to get petty on small things, and that is what led in fact to the unfortunate death of this young tennis player, and that is the PM report, as Anshul has accessed and very categorically stated that there were 3 bullets, one just below the neck and others found near the torso, is what in fact the PM report also suggests. There were 4 bullets that were fired, 3 had hit the body of in fact Radhika, and 1 was found on the ground, is what in fact the initial reports of the police had also suggested. However, Poonam, there are a lot of questions that remain unanswered. That's why that the FIR was registered pretty late. Why the police did not go into other angles of the story till the very beginning, or at least till a lot of media pressure, or a lot of questions were asked till then. There was a very slow investigation so far as to say. However, now things are coming to light. The murder mystery is boiling down. But what would be the final findings of the Gurugram police, and what would be the final case that would be presented, is something that would be very, very crucial to see. The court also said that it's a serious offence, and gave 1 day of police custody remand after 2 days of PC remand was actually sought by in fact the Gurugram police. So now we'll have to wait and watch as to what happens next, and he will also be taken to Rewari for the recovery of in fact the other ammunition, the live ammunition that he has on his licensed revolver. So we'll have to wait and watch as to how things pan out, and how would the Gurugram police be presenting its final case before the court itself.
Right, Ananya, do stay on with us. Anshul's also joining us. He in fact has accessed those preliminary findings of the autopsy report that has been accessed now by CNN News 18. Anshul, if you could get us more details. We're given to understand that there's some sketchy information that's coming to the fore as far as the bullet injuries, the number of bullets that were found. If you could give us some clarity on that.
Well, what police sources are still telling us that there were only 3 bullets that had hit Radhika, and in fact one of the bullets was actually able to pass through her body, drill through her body, and there was an exit wound that was seen on the front part of her body as well, which makes at least 4 wounds have been 4 bullet wounds have been found in her body. 3 of them were entry wounds, and 1 wound is that of exit wound that had in fact, since she was shot from behind, that bullet went into her body and pierced through the other side of the body. So these are the 4 wounds that have been found at this point in time. According to the reports, according to the postmortem report, it is very clearly stated in that report that her cause of death was due to bullet injuries that she was fired upon from a very, very close range. This has also been mentioned in the postmortem report, that the firing happened from a very close range, and that is the reason why there are exit wounds on her body as well. Now a detailed postmortem report will come out eventually, because the cause of death, that is the first thing that the police wants to find out, any agency wants to find out, and that has now been established that the death happened due to bullet injuries and the bullets that were fired on her. So definitely sort of a headway for the police, as one fact has come to the fore. There are other facts that needs to be established, as we have been reporting that the claims that have been made by the father, this needs to be corroborated with evidences, and these evidences are going to be statements of the close ones of both the accused Deepak Yadav and the victim Radika Yadav as well. The process of recording these statements is underway. Several friends of Radhika have also been rounded up, and they have also recorded their statements about the mental state in which Radhika was, if at all she had discussed this entire thing that was going on in her residence for the past few days. Because remember, this entire pressure building tactic that was being applied on Radhika was happening for at least 3 to 4 days continuously, is what the mother has claimed. So now the police wants to corroborate this by taking statements from the friends of Radhika, and if at all they knew that she was being pressurized to close down her tennis academy. So the only way to corroborate the statements with evidences at this point in time is to actually go ahead and record statements of other people who were privy to the life of both the accused and the victim, and then actually try to establish an exact sequence of events, and that is what is happening. So tomorrow, in all likelihood, we can expect that the accused could be sent back to judicial custody, and then eventually the process of questioning other people and then forming a chain, exact sequence of events would happen. And in this case, the Gurugram police is also very confident that they will be able to complete their investigation before the time limit of 60 to 90 days that is given to them, and this investigation could actually be completed within a time frame of 15 days to 30 days itself. So this is going to be, it remains to be seen if at all the Gurugram police will be able to do that, because at this point in time the Gurugram police believes that this is an open and shut case. There are no multiple layers to this entire case, especially after the statements that have been made from the side of the mother, who was privy to each and every action of both the accused and the victim. And in her statement, she has very clearly narrated the exact sequence of events that has happened. And now the police is also trying to get other statements that could actually corroborate this entire story. And once that is done, then eventually a charge sheet will be filed very, very soon in this entire matter.
Right. The police believe that this is an open and shut case, which is why they didn't seek extended custody of the accused or Radhika's father in this particular case. They sought only 2 days, out of which 1 day was granted to them. He's going to be back in court tomorrow. But there are several gaps in this entire story, several things that don't really add up. We'll try and chart those out for you. Who actually discovered Radhika's body? There seemed to be some discrepancy in the versions that have emerged, whether it was Radhika's brother who found her body, whether it was Radhika's uncle, the accused brother in this case, who found the body. There seem to be two different claims that have come to the fore. Radhika's mother claims that she was in the room. Eyewitnesses claim that she was outside. Some others have claimed that she was not on the same floor at all. So where exactly was Radhika's mother when the crime occurred? Where was Radhika's brother at the time of the incident? The FIR mentions that he was not in the property in this particular house. He was at one of their other properties. There are other people who claim that he was the one who found the body. So where exactly was Radhika's brother, Radhika's sibling at the time of the crime? Why are there so many discrepancies about the key stakeholders in this entire story is something that the police will have to look at now. Anshul and Ananya continue to be with us, getting us all of those details. Anshul, in the span of 24 hours that the custody has been granted for, will the police be actually able to find answers to these questions?
Well, it is very unlikely, because the focus of the police for this entire custody is to not only question the accused, but to recover the remaining bullets. Remember the license that the accused had, the pistol that was used to fire bullets at Radhika. According to the license, the accused has 32 bullets of the said pistol. Out of this, 6 has been recovered, whereas the remaining 26 have still not been recovered. According to the accused, Deepak Yadav, the remaining 26 bullets have been kept in his ancestral home, that is in Rewari, and that is the reason why the police had sought just a 2-day custody, so that he could be taken to Rewari, and then eventually the bullets could be recovered and he could be brought back. That is the only agenda on the mind of the Gurugram police at this point. Apart from this, if we talk about the investigation and how the investigation will go forward, this entire investigation and evidences would only be based on statements that will be given by the family members of Radhika and Deepak Yadav, statements that will be given by the friends of Radhika, who were in close touch with her, who were communicating with her daily, statements of the person who was operating that tennis academy will also be recorded, if at all he also knew that Radhika is in such trouble and she's being pressurized by her father specifically to shut down the entire shop. So all these questions needs to be corroborated with evidences at this point in time, and that will eventually happen as the investigation will go ahead. But at this point, the prime focus is what Gurugram police believes, that since the accused himself has accepted all the crime, the FSL has recovered the weapon, the FSL has recovered the fingerprints of the accused from the weapons as well, is what Gurugram police claim. So definitely there is not much to investigate from the angle of the accused in this entire point. He has been arrested, he is in their custody, but there are evidences, because the court will ask for evidences. These evidences would be corroborated after the statements of all these people who were in close connection with both the victim and the accused in this entire matter will be recorded, and then the police will try out to figure out an exact sequence of events that will eventually be mentioned in the charge sheet, which is likely to be filed in the next 15 to 30 days, is what we are being told.
And corroboration will have to be done, Ananya, isn't it? Because a confession is not solid proof. That can be thrown out of court during a court hearing at any moment of time. There have been times when those people, those accused who have allegedly confessed in the past have turned around and said that it was done under duress. There have been times when the police could not have corroborated claims that were made in these confessions as well. So that can't be the only basis of building a case in this particular crime, isn't it?
Well, definitely, you know, there has to be corroborative evidence. The motive has to be established very well, because if at all it's not a motive, then murder could actually be said to be a culpable homicide, and that is something, which happened in a fit of moment, and that is something, that the police would have to establish very well, that there was a clear motive and it was done with the intent to kill the girl, and not in the spur of the moment is something, that the Gurugram police would have to establish, and that is something, that would be a difficult task. Other angles, whether the Gurugram police would actually, be hinting at or would be looking into, is something that we'll have to wait and watch for. But the only clear question, that comes out is why only a 2-day police custody remand? Did the Gurugram police, would not want to go into the other angles or not, or whether they will be sticking to one story, very, very short, that, this is a altercation that happened after, because of the obsessive nature of the father, and the crime occurred. So how will the Gurugram police be establishing everything is something that would be important, because the PM report somewhere or the other would establish the cause of death. The ballistic report would confirm as to whether or not this is the exact weapon through which in fact this crime has occurred or not. The fingerprints would prove as to whether this gun was fired by Radhika's father or not. All of this has to be established, though these are known facts to us, but evidence and corroborative evidence in such cases is something that the Gurugram police would have to make a very, very watertight case before a court, so that their story doesn't fall flat completely.
Right. We'll keep a track of what transpires in the investigation. For the moment, though, Anshul and Ananya, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. It is time for a quick break on this edition of Nation at 5. Be back in just a few minutes.
Brought to you by... This is News 18 Network. India's largest news network.
The Delhi High Court has now stayed the release of Udaipur Files, a movie based on Kanhaiya Lal murder case from 2022. It was scheduled to release today itself till the centre decides on pleas seeking a permanent ban on it. The court stayed the film's release until the central government decides on the revision plea filed by the Jamaat Ulama in Hind, challenging the CBFC's nod. A division bench of Chief Justice D.K. Upadhyay and Justice Anish Dayal directed the petitioners to approach the government within 2 days with their grievances. The petitioners accused in the Kanhaiya Lal murder case moved court contending that the film's release will jeopardize their chances of a fair trial. The bench said, and I quote the court here, admittedly petitioners have not taken recourse to available remedy with the central government, unquote. So this is the High Court asking the petitioners to approach the central government, asking the centre to take a call on the same. The movie, though, remember, is slated to release today itself, and the Delhi High Court has now stayed the release of this film.
3 साल से किसी केस में अपराधियों को सज़ा नहीं मिली, वीडियो सबूत वगैरह सब कुछ होने के बावजूद, और जब एक हकीकत एक मूवी के ज़रिए देश को दिखाना चाहता है कोई, ठीक है, कि उस समय क्या हुआ था 28 जून 2022 को, तो उसके लिए पूरा एक संगठन खड़ा हो जाता है, जमीयत उलमा हिंद, ये मौलाना मदनी जी आ जाते हैं कि नहीं, मूवी पर रोक लगनी चाहिए, मूवी पर रोक लगनी चाहिए, और सिर्फ 3 दिन के अंदर हमें पता चल रहा है कि मूवी पर रोक भी लग गई। मतलब कितना हमारा जो कानून है वो कितना तेज़ है ना, एकदम फास्ट, ठीक है, पर वही जब किसी केस में अपराधियों को सज़ा देनी होती है तो वो नहीं हो रही।
जो वकील थे कपिल सिब्बल, उनको स्कैनिंग करा दी थी, तो स्कैनिंग कराने के बाद भी उन्हें बोलना तो वही था जो उनके मन में है, क्योंकि उन्होंने फीस ली उस बात की, विरोध करने की, तो विरोध ही वो करेंगे। तो आज बहुत समय तक जो है हाई कोर्ट में चीफ जस्टिस साहब के सामने वो पूरा प्रकरण चला, और उन्होंने फिर लास्ट में ये कहा कि ये फिल्म अभी स्टे कर दी जाती है फ़िलहाल, और हम तो सुप्रीम कोर्ट जा ही सकते हैं, हमारा तो राइट है इस फैसले को चैलेंज करने के लिए। जा ही रहे हम सुबह सुप्रीम कोर्ट, और उनको कहा है कि आप जो है केंद्र सरकार को इस फिल्म को दिखाइए, उनको अपील करिए, और 7 दिन के अंदर अंदर केंद्र सरकार फैसला दे कि ये फिल्म ठीक है कि गलत है। यानी गैंग जो है केंद्र सरकार, मोदी सरकार के पाले में चली गई है कि 3 साल हो गए कन्हैयालाल जी की हत्या को। ऑन कैमरा हत्या हुई थी, लाइव मर्डर था, हत्या करने वालों ने खुद कबूला था, मारते वीडियो बनाई थी, आज तक तारीख भी नहीं लग रही उसमें। उनके ऊपर जो फिल्म।
Welcome back. Baloch separatists have launched Operation Balm, also calling it Operation Dawn, against Pakistani army. In the past 24 hours, there have been over 50 attacks, numerous kidnappings, and more than 27 deaths that have been reported across Balochistan. The Baloch Liberation Army have announced that 18 Pakistani soldiers were killed in an attack on a military camp in Gidar. Baloch armed groups have escalated their tactics from traditional guerrilla warfare to a more organized territorial kind of assault. In this particular incident, 9 Punjabi passengers were forcibly removed from buses and killed, is what we're learning. Government officials stated that unidentified armed men set up a blockade, checked their identity cards, and then executed these passengers. The Baloch Liberation Army has also claimed responsibility for a large-scale attack on a military camp, stating that 18 security personnel have been killed. Anand Narasimhan joining us, getting us more perspective on this. Anand, there seems to be a more concerted effort, a more organized effort by the Baloch Liberation Army against the Pakistani army and their excesses?
Well, they are calling it Operation BAM against what the Baloch say is the Napak army. Now, there are 50 attacks, multiple kidnappings, more than 27 people have been killed across Balochistan in the last 24 hours. In fact, in one of the instances, 9 Punjabi passengers were taken off buses and killed in Balochistan. And what is also happening is that beyond guerrilla tactics, they have now moved to organized attacks, and that too at a level that the security establishment of Pakistan is unable to try and meet. Now, this incident of taking off passengers of buses and killing them took place on Thursday evening in an area called Zob. In another incident, the BLA has claimed responsibility for a large-scale attack on Pakistani military camp in the Gidar area of Sohrab district, and they have claimed that they have killed as many as 18 security personnel of Pakistan security forces. Also, they say that they have taken hostages with them, and there are reports of about 20 people missing, which have been supposedly kidnapped by the BLA. And these coordinated attacks have been reported under this and soon after the announcement of Operation BAM. 50 attacks reported within a span of 24 hours, and these are all various districts of Balochistan. So it's all across Balochistan, including Kech, Kharan, Khuzdar, Kalat, Pangjur, Washuk, Musakhel, Sibi, Mastung, Nasirabad, Quetta, Chagai, and Dera Bukti. Now, what it looks like is that they are not attacking Baloch. They are looking at the non-Baloch who are present there and who have anyway got any connection with the Pak establishment, especially the military.
Right, so that's what we are learning as far as the ground situation in Balochistan is concerned. Often Pakistan has turned around and pointed the finger in India's direction when we see these kind of attacks, these kind of uprisings that take place in that particular region. How is the Indian government, how is the Indian intelligence system looking at this?
Well, it is an internal matter of Pakistan, and Bharat has never directly gotten involved. We have never taken a position on Balochistan, but the fact is that this is something that the Pakistanis have to deal with now. And it just shows the inability of the Pak military establishment, which has often used force. In fact, Balochistan has been ravaged like no other province and no other area. The most number of human rights violations in Pakistan have taken place in this region, and this competes with what has happened in Pakhtunistan or in the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa area. And in Balochistan, every year there are thousands of people who are protesting. Even in Geneva, the number has gone up to more than 8,000 missing people in Balochistan. 8,000 missing Baloch, including women, youth, and there are instances in the past where the Pakistani military has resorted to firing from the air. They've used helicopters, attack helicopters, to rain fire on entire villages in Balochistan, and these are all on record. And now the Baloch are saying that, and especially after Operation Sindoor, there was a call within the Baloch that not only have they organized all the various tribes, be it the Buktis, be it the Baloch themselves, the other groups, they have all integrated, and they seem to have now decided that they will have a unified leadership.
Right.
And the BLA, perhaps the most potent representation as to how trained the Baloch and how organized they have become. They have various groups. They're all coming together and coordinated attacks. And in the last 1.5 years, the BLA has only shown that it is far more well-trained and it is outthinking even the Pakistani army.
Right, Anand, thank you so much for getting us the latest on that front. Shifting focus now to news coming in from Maharashtra, where Maharashtra Minister Sanjay Sirsat seems to be in trouble. Shiv Sena UBT faction MP Sanjay Raut has made some sensational allegations against the minister. A video has now been posted by the UBT faction where the minister can be seen with a bag of cash. The minister has now responded. He claims this is a well thought out conspiracy against him.
अरे आप समझ सकते हो ये जानबूझ के की साजिश है। मेरे घर में मैं बैठा हूँ, मेरा डॉग बैठा है, बनियान उतार के बैठा हूँ, चैन से बैठा हूँ, कोई तो भी उसका वीडियो निकाला है। मतलब ये लोगों को हर आदमी पे, हमारे हर आमदार पे रेकी कर रहे थे ये लोग। ऐसा रेकी करने की कोशिश भी की जा सकती है। हम तो ऐसे लोग हैं, कोई भी अपने घर में आओ, खाना खाओ, चाय पियो, जाओ। कार्यकर्ताओं को संभालना हमारा काम होता है। शायद इसमें ऐसा इसका कोई एजेंट हो सकता है, लेकिन हम इसकी चिंता नहीं करते। ना हमने कभी वो ऐसा देखा है। तुम देखते हो ऐसा कोई रहता है क्या घर में पैसे की बैग खुलेआम पड़ी है और अपन बैठे हैं? ऐसा नहीं होता, लेकिन ये साजिश की गई, उसका हम जवाब जरूर देंगे।
Welcome everyone. Thanks a lot for staying with us. You're watching Plain Speak with me, Shivani Gupta. Once the brainchild of the Congress party, Aadhaar has become a flashpoint again in Indian politics. What started with objections over EC's move to conduct an intensive revision of electoral rolls ahead of Bihar elections has now snowballed into a full-blown war over Aadhaar itself. Remember, it began inside the courtroom yesterday with the opposition raising questions over the non-inclusion of Aadhaar card in the documents list required by the poll body for the SIR exercise. Even the SC supported the idea that EC can consider Aadhaar and other documents as proof. But what is under question now is the volte-face by the very same political parties and civil groups who have just a few years ago opposed Aadhaar as a proof of citizenship. Linking of Aadhaar to voter IDs was vehemently opposed on the very same grounds of marginalization. Today, the very same people find Aadhaar the panacea of all problems. I mean, the hypocrisy isn't lost on anyone. Or is there something deeper here, an insistence to block any reform or progress? You can't make Aadhaar a proof of citizenship because there are privacy concerns. But today, Aadhaar should be enough to get you on the voting rolls. From poverty to privacy to politics, everything is being used as a reason to question each and every move. Mind you, not of the government alone, but even of other institutions. Exercises that were conducted without any brouhaha just 10 or 20 years ago are now under the scanner. Exactly who benefits? We'll take that question to our guest joining us in just a bit. Now, as opposition's flip-flop on Aadhaar continues, let's dive a little bit deeper into the history of where everybody stood. In fact, in March 2017, TMC and the Congress party both had opposed the linking of Aadhaar to midday meals. Let me repeat it, to midday meals. But now, 8 years later, they are batting for Aadhaar to be sufficient for voting rights. So it wasn't good enough to get you a midday meal, to get your child a midday meal, but it is enough to be included in the voter list today for them. In April 2017, Congress had attacked the government for wanting to make Aadhaar mandatory. It was